Hi guys, my friends call me G and I'm up in the Northeast. Sometimes I do videos for some of my more expensive products that I buy, and I decided to do this video on the Meetone Breeze electric fat trike. I will say first of all that I had a very good experience with customer service at the company. They seemed to have their act together, so that was good. I also want you to understand that I've been a heavy bike rider for more than 40 years now. I've had racing bikes, mountain bikes, fold-up bikes, hybrid bikes, recumbent bikes, and this was my first electric fat trike. Over the years, my bikes have been in the sort of medium to high-end range from manufacturers like Meetone, Brompton, and Trident. These bikes were manufactured in Canada, in England, and the United States, and I've typically paid between $1,000 and $4,000 for these bikes over the years. I don't mind spending a little more money because you get better quality, and that's what I was expecting from my Meetone Breeze, which I paid approximately $2,000 for. I owned each of these bikes for an average of about 10 years and rode them 12 months a year up here in the sun, the rain, or the snow. Interestingly, I never did have a rust experience, and I only ever did a one-time maintenance on them every year, which was typically only on the chain. And I only ran into a chain replacement issue at one point. And despite of this limited attention on maintenance, I never really experienced any rust at all on all of them until the very end of their useful life. So one of the main reasons for this successful track record with these bikes, if you don't know bikes very well, is the fact that the ingredients chosen for the recipe of the metals used in the bike to build the bike is really important, as are the coatings and materials that they put on the various parts as part of the manufacturing process. So for example, bikes made with aluminum alloys and well-defined and applied powder coatings hardly ever rust, and they're known for not rusting. And definitely you don't need to do more than an annual maintenance on these types of bikes. So that's what I was typically doing, and usually only on the chains, even though I ride all year round. Anyways, I got my Breeze in August of 2025, and I was busy with a few things, but finally got the bike assembled in mid-September. I was pretty excited. First time I had an electric bike. The weather up here was impeccable in September, so I started riding in September. October was impeccable weather as well, sunny all the time, no rain. But then the fall rain started at the beginning of November, actually right at Halloween. Now, I commute with my bike and started doing that with the Meetone Breeze in October. No problems at all at that point. When the November rains came up until December, I wasn't in the pouring rain every day, that's for sure, when I was riding to work. Listen, I only ride to work 4 times a week. I only work 4 times a week. And work is only 15 minutes away. So over the course of that month of November, when there was some rain happening, I was only in the rain riding maybe for 3 to 4 hours total for that month, okay? Now listen, at home I park my bike in a heated garage, and it has a running dehumidifier in it. And at work it's covered by a shelter, which is actually part of the roof of the building, so there's no possibility of rain falling on it there. And when the bike got wet, I followed the manufacturer instructions and wiped off most of it where I could, and even took a mop to it when I got home and stored it in the garage, right, to hopefully get most of it dried off. So I did that for the times when it was raining. Anyways, to my surprise, as I was wiping off the bike one day just at the start of December, I was surprised and very disappointed with the ton of rust that had occurred on it, which you can see in the photos that I'm going to put in this video. The rust was on the pedal and gear rotors, all over the chain, on many of the bolts, on the frame in various places, all over the brake pads, and even on various connectors and fasteners and stuff like that. So I was really surprised and disappointed like that, because I had only really been riding for a month, and I had been riding a very small number of hours in the rain and even wiping the bike off, and all of a sudden there was all this rust on it. And it wasn't just a touch of rust, it was like a significant amount of rust, and work needed to get that rust off of there. Goodness gracious, you can imagine how I was feeling. So as I was exploring how I was going to manage this, I realized that the rust had happened so fast that for me to be able to do the maintenance on it to keep it off was going to involve removing the rust, applying products, and then ultimately every 2 or 3 weeks probably going to have to clean off those products, take the rust off again, and go through that cycle every 2 or 3 weeks, cleaning the materials off and putting fresh materials on. So this was absolutely crazy for me if you look at my history of using bikes all year round, right? I never had any problems like this at all. This was a shock to me. So you can understand why I wasn't very happy given my experience with all my other bikes. And while I'm not sure exactly where the parts for this Meetone Breeze are manufactured, I really don't believe that they were manufactured in North America or the UK like my other bikes were. Listen, the bike manual even says that the Meetone bikes are, quote, rain and splash proof, but not in my experience. I definitely have a different opinion on that now. So listen, the company's being somewhat resistant to me since I myself am resistant to do a maintenance every 3 weeks approximately for every month of the year, and all that kind of stuff is a little bit crazy for me. So I have indeed asked for 100% refund on the bike so I can get back to sort of a normal kind of bike that has the appropriate ingredients in the metals, that doesn't rust right away after 3 or 4 hours in the rain, all that kind of stuff. I'm terrified if I keep this bike now. It's just gonna, the rusting is just going to continue regardless of what I do, or I'm going to have to do a really heavy maintenance cycle every 3 weeks or a month, which I've never done before in the past on any of my bikes. I haven't had these kind of problems. Anyways, we're going to see what happens. It may be the case that I wasted a couple $1,000s here. Hey, lesson learned. But for you guys out there, hey, buyer beware. See the photos that I'm putting up here. These are brand new photos that I just took about a month ago. As soon as I was wiping off my bike one day, I saw all these rusted parts, so I took those photos and sent them to the company as proof, and we'll see what happens. So cheers, good luck with your Meetone. Have an enjoyable ride, and I wish you the best. Ciao.